Once upon a time, there was a young man named Matt Sever. He lived in Austin, Texas, and he worked as a journeyman electrician. Every morning, when it was still dark outside, he would go to work and wire houses all day long in the blistering Texas heat. When he would come home, again, it was dark outside. And then, sometimes, with no time to shower or change his clothes, he would go straight to the bars and nightclubs of Austin to play his songs for whomever would listen. And he would apologize for his appearance and explain to the audience that he was an electrician, and he had found a certain nobility in this, even if no one wanted to sit too close to the stage. So they called him Matt the Electrician, and he did not mind this, for he was proud of himself, and there was no shame in a hard day's work. But eventually, he quit his job as an electrician to spend more time writing and playing songs, and the name stuck with him, because everyone needs an electrician sometimes. And there were some who would say that when the full moon is full, and Jupiter is aligned with Mars, you can often hear Matt the Electrician in the distance, wiring a house and whistling softly to himself. That describes the man we'll be talking with in just a few minutes. All right, Matt, great show tonight at the Iron Horse. How do you feel about the show?
Oh, I thought it went great. It was a lot of fun.
I noticed on YouTube there's a lot of videos of you playing at people's houses and in people's backyards. Makes for a great intimate setting like here at the Iron Horse. How do you arrange these? Do people call you up and say, "Hey, Matt, you got a few dozen of your closest friends coming by for the weekend. You want to join us? And oh, by the way, can you bring your guitar?"
Well, a lot of it's a little more formal than that, but my agent does a good job setting up house concerts all over the country, and sometimes it's series that have been around for years and years, and sometimes we just talked one of the fans into doing it if it's a town where we don't already have a big draw and we have fans from that town that are always asking us to play there. We'll say, look, if you can get 30 people in your living room and charge a cover and I'll play my guitar in the corner, and it works out really well.
This is some of the great videos that I've watched on YouTube is you playing live in people's homes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there.
A little about you told the story about being in a haunted castle. Can you tell me a little bit about that for everybody's listening?
Yeah, sure. I was part of this organization in Austin, based in Austin, called the House of Songs, which is a songwriter from Austin named Troy Campbell started this with several musicians from Denmark. And what it is it's this house, literally a house in Austin, that's financed mostly by the Danish government and the Danish performing rights organizations and like the musicians unions. And they about every 2 weeks have a couple of Danes come over and spend about 2 weeks in Austin co-writing with people, and then they play some shows and then they go back home, and it's been going for almost 2 years now. And I was kind of an early part of that and collaborated with a lot of people from Denmark. And then eventually, after about a year of that, I was invited to go over and take part in a songwriting session, a co-writing session at a haunted medieval castle.
That was a great, the song that you performed there. What was the name of the song that you wrote from being there?
I think the first one I did was Ghost Story. Yeah.
The thing about your music that I like the most is usually I'll listen to the rhythms and I don't listen too much to the lyrics, but for your songs, you got such simple chords that you play. I listen to like every word that you sing, and then it's like a story that's being told. Is that basically the way you like to be perceived as?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I think a lot of the people that I grew up listening to approached songwriting that way, as more of a storytelling thing than anything else.
You mentioned Arlo earlier. Was he one of your influences?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Arlo Guthrie and Pete Seeger and those guys.
I thought that the song that you interrupted and told the story about with Arlo, performing with Arlo, it was like a story that he would have told as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think that irony certainly didn't escape me.
When you're out on the road, is there a favorite place there you have to go to, even if you have to go out of your way to get some favorite comfort food like a hamburger or an ice cream? Is there any place that you can think of off the top of your head?
Yeah, actually, tomorrow I'll be in Boston, and I think it's Kendall Square area. There's an Indian food restaurant called Punjabi Dhaba, which I really like a lot. I certainly don't always know what the best Indian food is, but my backup singer Sela is Indian, and we've toured the East Coast quite a bit. And the first time we ate there, she said it was the best, like home cooking Indian food she had ever had. So, since her mom's, you know.
I think on one of the YouTube videos that I've watched, you mentioned that you write a song a day. Is that something that you still keep up with?
Not recently, no. I was doing that for a while, and I did at least 3 or 4 songs a week for a while too, kind of with a song game where friends that I know in Austin would come up with a title, and then I'd have a certain amount of days to write the song and record it and email it into the group. So I did that for a long time, and I've taken a break because I did so much co-writing in the last couple of years that I was really focused on that. And then now I've got this new record that's come out, which traditionally, right when a record comes out, is kind of probably my lowest production time as far as songwriting goes.
I didn't know that you were opening for the Wailing Jellies until a couple of days ago. But when I got here, it seems like a lot of the people came here to see the Wailing Jennies, but it really seemed like they were opened up when you did the last song in the customer complaint department. Did you get that sense too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're a really nice audience.
Yeah. And that's the interview with Matt the Electrician. Kind of a on-the-spot interview. I usually like to go into the green room, the dressing room area, and just set up and kind of relax and do an interview. But I was outside because it was in between shows, and the Wailing Jennies were still in the dressing room, and so it wouldn't have been quiet. So we went outside, and I was holding on to the laptop in one hand and holding a microphone in the other hand, and I was trying to come up with the questions that I had written previously from off the top of my head, and so it was a little awkward doing the interview, but it came out better than last time. I'll give you real quick the background. I met Matt the Electrician when I went up to Northampton before to interview Slade Cleaves, and Matt was the opening act for Slade. And in between shows, I was just outside and I was talking to this guy who was just standing out there, and I'm just chatting it up, and comes to find out, it was like, oh yeah, I'm Matt, I'm an electrician, I just opened up for the show. And I'm like, oh cool. So I talked to him, and I said, next time you come up here, I definitely want to interview and check out your show. So here he is, Matt the Electrician. He just released a new album, a new release, Accidental Thief. And that when I was asking him the question about or more just posing a statement about listening to his lyrics, it's easy for me to understand his lyrics because the songs are slow and it's not confused by a bunch of electronic chords and all this and that. Just a couple simple chords on the guitar acoustically, and there you go. But Accidental Thief, the lead self-title of the album, is a really cool song. When I was listening to him performing at the show, the lyrics are really cool, so we'll try to play that later in the show. Right now I want to play All I Know by Matt the Electrician.